This is yet another episode from TGV Global Speaker Series, and our guest for today is Tom Meyers. He is from Greater Brussels area in Belgium. He is a seasoned osteopath, body-centered stress coach, and Futurize Yourself mentor. He is dedicated to guiding individuals in unlocking their inner resources for optimal healing and passion-driven living. He is operating in Belgium and beyond. Tom offers osteopathic and body-centered consultations, conducts engaging talks and workshops, and also hosts events. His unique approach combines osteopathic treatments and body-centered stress coaching to provide pain and stress relief, symptom alleviation, resilience enhancement, support during challenging times, relaxation for business leaders, and also specialized osteopathic body coaching for future space tourists. Sounds interesting, isn't it? So as we prepare to delve into our conversation on the topic at hand, Futurize Yourself, here is an exciting twist. First, let us tickle the brains of our guest Tom. So Tom, get ready for a rapid fire round of random words. I'll mention a few and I would love to hear the first thing that comes to your mind in response without thinking much. If you're ready, let's get started.
Let's get started, Naveen. Thank you.
I love the energy, Tom. And here comes the first bullet. Curiosity.
Exploration.
Invention.
Innovation.
Future.
Now.
Book.
Writing.
Movie.
Star Wars.
And food.
Oh, Indian food. Indian
food. Wow. And aliens.
I'm one.
Success.
Success is a personal development.
Creativity.
Okay, curiosity.
And the last one is universe.
My oyster.
Wow. Super.
Like they said of the world is my oyster, the universe is my oyster.
Good one. That is creative. Thank you so much for participating in the first rapid fire round. We have one more towards the end. And let me welcome the audience. So folks, welcome to the Guiding Voice podcast series, where we embark on transformative conversations for a better future. I'm your host, Naveen Samala, dedicated to making the world a better place through valuable discussions that add value not only to your life, but also to your career. And thank you once again for tuning in. Tom, hearty welcome to the Guiding Voice. The most anticipated episode is here. I am super happy to have you.
That is such a great introduction. Thank you very much. And I'm so happy to be here and to make what was once the future is now an ongoing reality for the next 30, 40 minutes or something like that. So yeah, we made the future come through, Naveen. This is so fantastic.
Awesome, and it is a real pleasure to have you. And without further ado, let's talk about your success mantra. So, Tom, please share the top 3 things that have contributed to your success so far and share them with our audience.
Okay, so getting help is the first one. Without me asking for help, I would not be here.
Yeah.
Second one was I call creating a DNA for my future. That is something that I could start exploring and build a life on. And so something that I needed to create a structure on which I could build myself. And the third one is then building that future that I then could pull to the present and make into an ongoing reality. So 3 things: help, DNA for the future, and creating a future I wanted to wake up to, and I wake up to today.
So third one is more intriguing, like creating the future that you want to wake up and you are creating it. And he said the future is now.
Yes, indeed.
All right. So
it is now, Naveen. You know, the next minute, the next hour, that's all the future. But what do you want that future to be like?
Yeah.
That is decided by your decisions, your choices, your actions creates the future. So if you are more focused on your decisions, choices, and actions of where you want to lead them, then you're improving your present. Right? Okay, yeah. I'm going to give you one quick example. Why do you brush your teeth, Naveen?
not to smell bad, but not to damage my teeth.
Yeah, but the idea of brushing your teeth is for the future to have good teeth long term. And the bonus you get is you have clean teeth and a fresh breath, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you do it for the future. And today you have additional benefits from doing that. This is what future thinking about is all about.
Awesome. And I can't wait anymore. Let's talk about the core of today's conversation, like futurizing yourself. So, can you explain this concept and why it is crucial in today's fast changing world?
A lot of people base their lives on the past and have their past push them forward, right? And or there is people that are more based on present here in the present. Okay, but if you're always in the present and always pushing yourselves forward from the past, and that past might have had limitations. For example, myself, I was considered good for nothing. So if I continue my future based on that, then I will be good for nothing forever. In the present, if I don't start thinking ahead of change, of how the world, my work, and my environment is changing, and I don't start preparing for that. For example, if people are in a job that is at risk of being automated or robotized, and they don't start thinking about this today, then they will and stay in the present, then they will hit that wall and say, "Oh, I've lost my job.
Yeah.
Oh, what do I do now? Please, government, help me." And I'm thinking, but we knew that was going to be automated.
Yeah.
You knew that. So why didn't you prepare yourself for that eventuality and probably change your path and before it happened? And this is what futurizing yourself is all about. It's not about neglecting the past, not about neglecting the present, but now in the future, you say, okay, what is going to happen? What are the scenarios? What is my preferred scenario that I want to wake up to? And then saying, how do I get there? But before you do that, and this is part of the Futurize Yourself concept, is to find out on what you can build. You are made for a purpose. And people say, I don't know my purpose. Well, have you done the homework to have the elements that create, that are unique to you, on which you can create a purpose into your life?
So people are not that adept at embracing that particular change and being prepared for the future. So which means people struggle to adapt to this constant change. And how can individuals use this future thinking to build a stable foundation for their own personal development?
It is indeed. And it comes from our history and from our evolution, of course. We always were struggling, or for centuries, we were struggling to survive in the moment, right? Yeah. And the next year, the next generation looked a bit similar. And the woodworker became a woodworker and so forth. The doctor became the doctor. But now, of course, the world is changing very fast. And so fast that intergeneration, there are so many changes that we cannot rely anymore on that kind of old evolution. And so we need to create a new evolution, or as I call it, evolopsis, the process of evolving on purpose to helping our body, our mind, our spirit to evolve with the changing times. And we can do that because we have a beautiful, beautiful brain, right? But the only thing is a stressed brain. So the more stressed you are, the more your time perspective changes. And so it's all about now and survival, and also changes into your brain for thinking differently. So there is a very big concept in my work as an osteopath and body-centered stress coach that it is essential to help people to be in ease mode. So in that state of adaptation, physically and also physiologically, neurologically, and then to start helping them to think about, okay, what are the stables in time? Change is not the only constant, Naveen.
Yeah.
It's not, right? It's like my DNA for the future that I want you to think about so that you can build on is, what do you want to feel? Okay. If I ask this to my patients, they look at me like, I never really thought about that. Or they say I want to feel good. Okay, but that is too general. How do you want to feel? What do you want to feel? Why do you do the things you do? And what kind of feeling inside do you want to create with the things that you do? Which one do you want to have? Establish that.
Yeah.
So I want to feel content, fulfilled, and healthy. That's my basic. What do I want to feel? And this is what I'm striving for to have. And have, luckily. That the other part is your aspirations. Why do you do what you do? You know, some people are so dispersed and doing all these crazy things, but they have forgotten why they do it. And it's like, for me, I created an acronym for myself, which is the acronym GREAT Future. Great, and future, again, is now. And so future is life. I want to have a good future. I want to be resilient. I want to evolve as a person. I want to be in action, doing the things that are actually possible and transcendent at the end of my life. I want to say, Tom, you did a good job. And also for the next generation, right? Because in many Indian culture, or some parts, of course, there is reincarnation. And so that we say always the next generation as our children and children's children. Yeah. But then I started to think what if that next generation is me? If reincarnation in this plane is a reality, then of course the future is my future. And then I have all the interest today to invest in that future I will one day be born into. Anyway, but that's another topic. But it's just about how my mind works, right?
Okay.
So I have my two strands. What do I want to feel? My aspirations. And then the bonds of my DNA is my potential. So finding what I'm born with that I can develop over time. And I found out through 3 questions that in me there was a therapist, a communicator, a researcher, a teacher, and a traveler. And so that is my DNA. And DNA stands for does not alter. Isn't that fantastic?
Yeah, indeed.
What does not alter, what does not change, you can build. Yeah. And so from that, so once you establish that, then you can create an image of your future. What can this become?
Great. You mentioned about DNA for your future as a blueprint, right? So what inspired you to create and develop this concept, and what makes it timeless?
Well, 23 years ago now. So I was actually selling charcuterie and cheese. I had a small gourmet deli. I was trained as a chef. I had always worked in catering as a waiter, a sommelier, and so forth. And I hit a wall on 2 months after opening the deli, which was a great idea, handed to me on a plate by a friend. And it was, I thought, wow, I'm going to be rich and I'm going to have the BMW and all of that stuff. And I was not in my place. And it was a local pharmacist who gave me a name and number. And she said, okay, Tom, I think you need help. Go to this person. She will help you. And so, remember the first question you asked me? Get help, right?
Yeah.
Getting help. This is the getting help part, right? And this lady helped me to revisit my past, put a new perspective on it. And she's the one that asked me these questions about finding my potential as homework. And so she gave me 3 questions. What do you admire in your friends? You always talk about your friends that is better than you. Why do people come to you and not your friends? And what have you done? You said, I wish I could do this for the rest of my life. So these 3 questions, I needed to create stories, and I needed to write down my answers to these 3 questions. And then they were filtered down. And then my talents, my potential came out. And then she asked me, okay, now imagine an ideal day in 10 years' time. So we were then from 2000 to 2010.
Okay.
And so I was a bit scared of her, intimidated by her. So I did my homework, even though that I thought that was the most ridiculous thing to do, to think about my future when my shop was, I was not well, my shop was going down, I had financial problems, and, the future was far away. And so that's where the DNA comes from. So, but I didn't know that. I didn't even know it until about a couple of years ago when I started to write my second book. And 3 quarters into the book, I suddenly saw that, what I was writing about had a DNA kind of structure to it. And then when I read the first pages of my book, I say, "For my God, what do I want to feel? It's in the first pages. I don't feel this, I don't feel that, and that. Oh, and I don't have these aspirations." This is how my first book starts, and it's also, my God, this is so wonderful that in a way I've been doing this, more than 20 years, and I didn't really realize it. So I just, through writing, I started to see patterns and formulate it and connect it with things that we know. Genetics, epigenetics. What? Epigenetics? Yeah. Once you have a DNA, that's only a code. But your behavior and your environment stimulates your DNA, so it expresses in different way. Today, I'm a therapist osteopath, and when I'm 80 in a retirement home, I'm still a therapist. It won't change. It's my DNA, but it will be expressed in, maybe I'm just being there and listening to the nurses, their problems, or my colleagues. They will always find me because I'm a therapist. I exude that without talking. People confide in me.
Super inspirational, super inspirational, Tom. And can you also share some practical strategies or exercises individuals can employ to start defining and nurturing their own unchanging DNA, does not alter, for the personal development?
Yeah. So summarize it, what I said before first.
Yeah.
What do you want to feel is the first question to ask. And don't say, I want to feel happy. Okay? Happy is an emotion, is short-lived most of the time. But the words need to be timeless. Like, I want to feel content. Content is you might not feel happy and you might have a bad day, but you still might feel content about yourself. You see, that's the difference. It's a stable. The second question is, what are your aspirations for life, right? What do you want life to be and contain? Like, I want to have a good future, a resilient, adaptable, and so you need to have that. And then these questions about what you admire in others is actually that what's inside of you that is not developed. My friends were great communicators. They had the best jokes, and I could have an answer about 5 days later. And they were like walking dictionaries, and I admired that in them. And I was told from Tom, but you are a communicator, but you need to develop it, and you need to find that area of passion in which you can communicate. And look at us today. We are talking, inspiring, and I'm a dictionary for the things that I do. So the second question is what people come to you for. Naveen, why do people come to you and not your friends? What do they ask from you specifically? And the third one is, where are you in your element? Where have you been in your element? So what do you want to feel? Aspirations, finding your potential by looking to what you admire, to what people admire in you, and what you have done to feel in your element. These are the essentials.
Got it. I think it is so practical. Now let's move forward, Tom. I would like to shift the gaze and talk about your own personal anecdote or experience that illustrates the power of having a steadfast foundation for navigating life's challenges. Because challenges come, right? And they are not just like they come and go. They are part of our life.
So, for example, one of the challenges, so when I decided to become that therapist, and then I went into it, and the first courses were quite easy, and then I wanted more, and entered into osteopathy, a 5-year osteopathy course. But of course, not being trained in any medical field, it was hard work, right? And then with exams and tests and papers to write. And at one stage, I was really struggling. It's like, from how, I can't do this, right? And there's the conditions, the resistance that I had was enormous, and I was not feeling well. But then I took my, third perspective, my perspective, and looked at myself and said, from Tom, is this challenge getting you to where you want to be and wake up to And the only thing I could say, yes, this is what I want. This is what I'm made for. I could feel it. And so it gave me like that perspective to the resistance was indeed the one for me to grow, and not because I had deviated from my path and I got again help. Say from, okay, I seems to be struggling. I need help from other people to get me through this so that I can grow and achieve my future that I have set for myself. So every time I have a challenge, I go back to my DNA, go back to my future's image that I have envisaged, and then I say, from, is this challenge to make me grow, or did I deviate from my path? And if I deviated, then I could align myself again, and by miracle, okay, it flowed again. It's amazing how this works. So this is how I use.
Nice. Now let's talk about the blueprint part. Like, do you think having a blueprint for personal development can impact one's health and overall well-being? And are there any scientific or psychological principles which support this idea?
Think about it. Your body is always looking to the future.
Yeah.
It's always anticipating, is this dangerous or not? So already your body automatically is a futurist, the first futurist. But with change, so if everything changes, this is for us really difficult. Change, anxiety, I don't know what I'm going to get. And so some people live with, life is like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get. And that creates anxiety. And so anxiety can create physical strains, right? Because it's a stress response, and it can affect the heart. It can affect the digestion. It can affect your immunity, your muscular tension, your back is blocked. So by creating a DNA for your future, you always have something that does not change and on which you can fall back upon to. So it's a stable, and like it's like a structure that will always be there and which you can rely on. And so the future becomes less daunting because you have a DNA to go back to. So it's creating more security, and this is what is helping you to be more at ease with the change. This is, yes, you need to, yes, it's difficult. Yes, you need to learn. Yes, you need to upgrade yourself, upskill, reskill, and all of that. But it has a purpose. And if you do it well, it also helps you to evolve as a person, which makes you feel good, and you will be more resilient, and you will be ready before the change is actually pushed upon you. Because a lot of things happen to us, pushed upon us, because we are just not ready. And then you have to take whatever somebody else decides. So, and it's not foolproof, right? But it gives you already so much more than not having it.
Superb. I'm thoroughly enjoying this conversation, and it has been incredible discussion so far. And it's time for us to add some more excitement and some more spice. So, Tom, get ready as we dive into a series of second rapid fire round, and which has a set of intriguing questions just to spice up the episode. Shall we do it now?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, here comes the first bullet. If you could have one gigantic billboard anywhere with anything on it, what would it say?
It would say, thinking about the future is daunting, but there is no time like the present to think about it.
Wow. And what is one thing
we must quote that one. No, that's like a great quote.
Indeed. I loved it. And what is one thing that you're really bad at that you wish you were good or better at?
Marketing, selling myself, or selling, getting my message more out there. But for that, I have used Naveen.
And I think definitely this kind of platforms will help you in terms of reaching the right set of people.
Indeed. Getting help, Naveen. Remember, getting help. And you are helping me because you're in your potential and I'm in my potential. And together we make the difference.
Absolutely concur with you. And here comes my next one. Can you describe yourself in just one word?
Innovator.
And what is some of the best advice that you have ever gotten from someone?
I would say again, Tom, you need help. And then also not only the message, but also taking it and say, okay, even if I didn't believe that somebody could help me, to do it anyway.
Mm-hmm. And if you won $1 million lottery or some way or the other than your company, which stock would you buy and why?
Okay. Personally, I would not buy stock. I would buy a house because that's the best investment you can make.
Yeah.
But if it would something, if I do, then it would be something into the space industry. Something like I heard about a company who's creating Wi-Fi in space, and so that the space tourists can, send their photos on Instagram and things like that. So I would invest in something like that because that is, I can only imagine that is that everybody wants to do that straight away, sending pictures back to Earth. So the Wi-Fi in space company.
And here comes the last bullet out of rapid fire. What is one electronic gadget that you like to see or invent yourself?
A teleportation machine.
Teleportation again. There is huge demand for teleportation. Someone please invent one.
Yes, teleportation. That is like teaching, that, you go to India to teach, like I'm going next week to India, to Chennai, and, it takes me, 16, 17 hours to get there. So, instant being there, teaching all around the world like that, it would be fantastic.
Absolutely. I think that is the most on-demand gadgets that almost 95% of our guests are looking forward to. I come across other gadgets, but this is the most sought after one. So Tom, that is a fabulous rapid fire, and with that, let's flip back to the mainstream. And here comes my next question. What advice would you give to someone looking to start their own journey of personal development through futurizing yourself?
It all depends on where you are in life, right? Is it a young person, middle-aged, or elderly person? But first of all, it's about you need to create ease within yourself. So I'm going into my therapist role now as an osteopath and body-centered stress coach. The state of the body interferes with the way you think and the way you behave and the way you can imagine a future. So any kind of futurize yourself, personal development approach that you want to apply to yourself, first of all, you need to come into ease first. So do something that helps your body to calm down, that your autonomic nervous system is balanced, and that you are feeling, even though that the world around you or that you have difficulties, but that you can just find that inner calm from a physiological perspective. That's essential. I did not probably have that 23 years ago. So, okay, then essential becomes, okay, but you didn't have that. But I think if I can give you a good advice today, that would have been very beneficial. And so start there. And then you start thinking about the questions, about creating that DNA for your future and to leave the past behind. In that, I mean, the past has lessons, yes, but it does not have to define your future. So it's about disconnect from your experiences. Find that what you're born with, above all of the experiences, and then go to the future and say, okay, what can this become? All right? Because if we are going to be always limited by our past, then of course we are reducing ourselves to something that is probably not true. If I have continued even to create my future on Tom is good for nothing, he's never going to make it. I cannot be proud of him. And it makes me a bit emotional, but these were the words that I received, when I was about 14, 15. And if I stayed there, if I stayed in that limited mind frame, it was not true. It was an expression in that moment of frustration and disappointment. Yes. But today
Mm-hmm.
It's not that I've proven them wrong. It's not about right or wrong. And it's all set in frustration. And I have great conversations. One of the people that said that was my dad. But I have a great relationship with my dad today, and he's proud of me. And I could talk to him at one stage and say, okay, this is what you said, and this is how it has influenced me. But I love you, Dad, because it also, that past, it's about changing the perspective on that moment, what it is said and why it was said. And suddenly it changed the energy of that. And I've been able to transform it into something that is positive and nourishing and nurturing. And also with my parents, I have a super duper relationship now. Because I changed the perspective. And through I changing this perspective, my field around me changes. And then they started to support me in their own way. And so it's not my way, but in their way. So I needed to learn that their way is not my way, and that I had to accept that and not judge it.
Fabulous. I simply loved it, and thank you so much for that. And before I let you go, please share with our audience how is your experience being hosted on the Guiding Voice platform, and you can be absolutely brutal and give some feedback.
Okay. I think you have been the most prepared host that I've ever had so far. So Naveen, I think fabulous. I've been, from the first moment you contacted me to now, you've always been a futurizer in my eyes, because you always prepared me for what is to come. So great. From a European perspective, when we have a conversation, I can understand you really well. But when you're going to excitement, it goes very fast. So it's a feed forward thing that I want to pass on to you, is to be careful for your wider audience that are not maybe used to the accent, that you just, that you just articulate, and it will help you to bring out that message even better that you're doing.
Absolutely. Point taken.
So it's not a critique. It is a positive, sharing of wisdom to bring you and elevate you to the your next level as well, and for your audience.
Yeah. Perfect. Thank you.
That's so beautiful. I told you, you are just prepared. You're such a good guy. I love you, man.
All right. Thank you so much, and for all the feedback, feed forward, and also for sharing your insights by spending valuable time from your calendar. And thank you so much once again. I really enjoyed, and I'm sure this episode is going to help many people be better prepared and be a better version of themselves, so that they are preparing for the future. Thank you once again, Tom. Really appreciate you.
So they can always connect with me for more questions.
Absolutely. So folks, you can connect with Tom either through LinkedIn. I'm going to publish all his credentials in the show notes or the episode description. Please connect with him and become better, and try to own your own future, because Tom has been in this field for the last 23 years, and he has been helping many people realize their dreams and see the future. So on that note, thank you once again, Tom. It was a pleasure having you here.
Really, truly pleasure. I enjoyed my moment. Thank you.
Same here, Tom.
That was fantastic. Really, really, really. That flowed. I haven't seen the time pass. So these are flow moments. So wonderful.
That was our episode with Tom Meyers on Futurize Yourself. And before we jump into the fun trivia section, we have a quick request. If you haven't already subscribed, please subscribe to our podcast from wherever you have tuned in, because subscribing keeps you updated on the new episodes. And also, if you have enjoyed this conversation and found it beneficial, please share with at least 3 of your friends or colleagues who would also like the Guiding Voice. So please spread the knowledge and help others grow just like you. And now let's hop into the trivia segment. Today we had a wonderful guest, Tom Meyers from Brussels. I thought I would present you three interesting facts about the Greater Brussels area, which is in central Belgium. So, first fact is about multilingual hub. Brussels is known as the de facto capital of the European Union and is an incredibly diverse and multilingual city. In addition to French and Dutch, which are the official languages, English and many other languages are commonly spoken due to the international institutions and expat community. And this makes it a global hub for diplomacy and also multiculturalism. Second one is about historic Grand Place. The Grand Place, located in the heart of Brussels, is one of the most beautiful and well preserved medieval squares in Europe. It has been a UNESCO World Heritage Site since 1998 and is famous for its opulent guild halls, the town hall, and also the King's House. The square hosts numerous events and is particularly stunning during the annual flower carpet event. And the third one is about comic strip capital. Brussels is often Brussels is often referred to as the comic strip capital because it is the birthplace of several famous comic book characters, including Tintin and the Smurfs. Visitors can explore the city's many comic strip murals, dedicated museums like the Belgian Comic Strip Center, and even enjoy guided tours of the famous comic book locations throughout the city. So these facts showcase the natural these facts showcase the cultural, historical, and international significance of the greater Brussels area. So I am going to stop here, and here comes my question. If you know else any other interesting fact related to greater Brussels area, please feel free to leave please feel free to drop a comment in the YouTube if you are watching video there, or if you have found the episode on social media platform, you can comment there. Not only that, you may also comment about how you are planning to futurize yourself. I'm looking forward to hear from you. And that's it for today's episode. Thank you so much for tuning in and spending your valuable time. And also, thank you so much for being part of our awesome community. And friends, we would love to hear from you. So do not hesitate to share your ideas and feedback either through social media, or you can also email us at theguidingvoiceforyou@gmail.com. And let's create content that resonates with you. I'm your host, Naveen Samala, a lifelong learner, and my goal is to have impactful conversations that improve not only your life but also your career. Until next time, take care, stay inspired, and remember, the future holds great things because the best is yet to come. Goodbye for now. See you all in the next episode with another amazing guest. Take care.